Let's hook the carnations. This carnation is already lined. Look at the components of a carnation. It's the body of the flower and this part of the flower jaw. And then I put the two of them together. It is okay. So let's do it with this blue line. I'm going to wrap the threader on my little finger. Bring to the index and then you wrap it around your middle finger. Hold the thread with your thumb. Use the thicker end for double crochet. 2.0. The crochet goes through this coil on the middle finger. And then winding. We start with the needle. Hook 3 braid pins as the standing pins. Twist the wire and hook in this back. Case 3 V's are 3 braid pins. Then we have to hook up 10 long needles. A long needle is 1 first. Then crochet through the loop. Hook the thread over. Now I have 3 coils on top of the crochet. Let's wind the wire first. The crochet hooks through the first 2 coils. Then the crochet continues to hook the back 2 coils. This will hook the needle. Once hooked, you can hand marker buckle. That's where you hand marker clasp in the V. Continue to hook the second needle. Through the loop of the needle, hook the thread over. Coil the wire over the front 2 coils. Hook a winding. The back 2 coils. So the second stitch is continue hooked. With the third stitch, winding through the loop. The thread over. Winding. Hook the first 2 coils. The winding hook is the 2 coils under the excess. Wind the thread through the 15 loop. Hook the thread over. The winding tip passes through the first 2 coils. Wind the wire and hook the extra 2 coils. That's 4 stitches. Continue winding through the 15 loop. Hook the thread over. Winding. Through the first 2 coils. Wind the wire through the remaining 2 coils. Continue to wind the thread through the 15 loop. Hook the thread over. Coil the wire over the first 2 coils. Then wind the extra 2 coils. Here are 6 long needles. 10 long needles need to be hooked. Wind in the thread through the 15 loop. Hook the thread over. Coil the wire over the first 2 coils. The winding hook is the 2 coils under the excess. Continue to winding through the loop of the needle. Hook the wire around the first 2. The 2 overlaid lines. Thread the thread through the 15 loop. Short of a needle. Wind the thread through the 15 loop. So 10 stitches are and hooked. Then we'll hook it up. Take the string off this middle finger and then pull this thread. Pull a little harder. Pull the thread tight. As far as possible tightening. A crochet hook has a coiling stitch that needs to be marked with hook S. Dropping. Let them form a circle, and that makes a ring. Take off the marking buckle first. Through the needle from this position of the hook. Bring string to hand. And then wrap it around. I'm going to go through the loop on the crochet hook. Pull the line tight. Adjust the. Then continue to raise some braid pins as a standing pin. Also hook 10 long needles. The thread is wound in the needle hole where the needle was hooked. Hook a long needle through the needle eye. Hook the thread over. Coil the wire over the first 2 coils and then wind it over the next 2 coils. Winding through the needle eye. The hook is drawn and wound through the first 2 coils and then wound it through the next one, the next 2. Move on to the next stitch and hook a long needle. Wind the thread through the needle. Cancel the Wind the wire through the first two coils. Wind the wire through the next two coils. Continue winding the thread through the needle. Hook the thread over. Wind the wire through the first two coils. Then wind the wire through the next two coils. That's for long stitches. Continue to wrap this loop around the wire. Alright, that's the second
Also
lap. Hook a drawing needle with the first needle. Here, pass through the eye of the first stitch. Hook the thread over and then keep taking it off. A coil on a crochet hook and adjust the coil. Bring me the wire. To take a wire is to go around and then the little finger on your index finger like that. Also hook some braid pins as the standing pins. Start by winding through the coils on the crochet hook. Wind the thread and hook the coil on the crochet hook. Hook the coil on the crochet hook. So that's 3 braid pins. This works as a standing pin. We need to hook 6 long needles into a needle head. First wind the thread through the needle. Hook the thread over. Winding the 2 coils under the belt over winding coil. There are 5 more long needles to hook in this needle. The thread is wound through the needle. Through the first 2 coils. Hook the winding wire through the remaining 2 coils. Wind the thread through the needle. Hook the thread over. Wind the wire through the first 2 coils. Wind the wire through the remaining 2 coils. I've got 3 here. Go on. When I check it because here, there are more needles to hook in. That's this why you have to get just a little and then you pinch it, so you can see it. Here we go. We've got 6 in the next needle so order. There are 6 long needles in this needle head. I'm just going to keep doing this. Just go ahead and finish the circle. Take care to pull on the next hook at the needle. Thread the thread through the needle. Wind the wire through the first 2 coils. Through the remaining 2 coils. Continue to hook 6 long needles into the same needle head. Follow the same method to complete the circle. Hook 6 long needles in the last needle. Hook 6 long stitches after and stitch this stitch first. Hook dropping. The first stitch here. You can count from below the side. It are some braid pins. It should be the 4th braid. Hook dropping. Thought ends. If you need to switch colors, you know, when we hooked this pin, it just brings out the color. Let's say we need to change it this to white. This is where we cut Leave the cord. About a 10 centimeter break here. And then I'll switch to white. White is also wound first, and then hold. First, pinch the white thread and the piece then like crochet this. Through the needle mesh. Wrap the white wire around. And then take it off again. This one is hooked through this blue coil. Now tighten the blue line. And then we're gonna do the last one is 3 braid pins. Hook a short needle. Hook 3 braid pins first. Twist end up needle. And then hook it in the first needle, a short needle, through the needle. Winding through the So this is A. Then continue to hook some braid pins. A wound comes through. 2 wound threads threaded through 3 braid pins. Then hook a short needle into the next needle. Through the needle eye, hook the hook and pull the wire together. Continue to hook some braid pins. Hook a short needle into the next needle. Through the needle eye, hook the hook over and take the coil together. Hook some braid pins. Hook a short needle. Hook a short needle into the next needle. This is the lace of the flower. Continue to hook some braid pins. Hook a short needle. Hook a short needle into the next needle. Some braid pins. Hook a short needle into the next needle. Follow this method to complete the whole circle. Then hook a short needle into the next needle. 1、2、3 hook a short needle. 1、2、3. Continue in this manner to complete the circle. Here the lace is hooked. Hook a drawn needle here in the first stitch. Stretch out the coil, then cut the thread end. Pull the wire through the coil. Let's hide the line. Thread the thread tail with a suture needle. I crossed the hide the line through here. Keep putting on the top. Excess threads can be cut off. Leave the blue one alone. Hide the thread. It goes through this white thread here. Cut off any excess thread. So let's take this blue line right here. Get it under there. The blue line starts at this point. Start hiding the line on. And then I pick it from here to here. Let's put a green liner on this. Draw the jaw part. That's this part right here. Let's hook the jaw part of the painting. Start by winding the threader on the little finger to the index finger. Make a looper on your middle finger. Then start the hook with
Use the thicker end
of the crochet hook
by
threading a racing needle around the lifting wire hook to come over, and then twist it and hook it back. This easiest ending pin. Then we continue to hook short needles to pass crochet needle through a lifting loop. To wound, hook both coils together so that's a short needle. We use marker buttons. Give him the first stitch here. In this way, it is a needle order. Go ahead and hook the second short pin. Thread through the needle loop and bring it over. Thread through the needle loop and bring it over. Hook 5 short pins. After the 5 short take needles the thread are off the middle finger, then pull the end of the thread to tighten it. Now crochet this coil and stitch. Make a drawing pin. Crochet through the first stitch. Hook the thread over, then continue to hook the crochet head. That's 5 short stitches in the first round. Then wrap the threader on to hook as the ending pin. The second circle is 5 pins. This is to hook 2 short needles into
Hook
each
2 short
head.
stitches into each thread.
Stand up first when
We
the
hook
needle
the
is
needle
in
again
place. At this position, is the first needle inside the needle to continue
Crochet through
to
the
hook 2
thread.
short needles. Hook the thread and bring it through. Crochet through. Hook the needle and thread over. Wrap wire E and bring it through. This is to hook 2 short needles into a needle head. Below is the same through the needle order. Hook the thread over. Wedding belt. Round and round. Continue to hook 2 short stitches into the next stitch. Pull the thread through the needle. The last one. Short needle. After the last pin of the round is hooked, same with the first stitch. Loop ring pull. The connection. Hook a coil. On the third lap, it's 10 short stitches without adding
Round
or
3 and
subtracting.
round 4.
The fifth circle is full of hooks and 10 short pins. First, hook a braid pin as a ending pin. To hook through the coil of a crochet hook. This is a ending pin. Then hook 10 short needles without tightening them. Thread the thread through the needle. Bring together the 2 coils on the crochet hook. Through the needle eye, hook the thread over to wind the thread. Continue to hook 10 short stitches. Hereafter hook and the first needle hook a draw needle. Hook a draw pin. Continue to turn 4 and hook a braid pin as a ending pin. A tick without addition or subtraction. Check to row 5. The fifth ring, the last stitch and the first stitch hook a draw needle. Winding tension. And then we have to hook the 6th circle. Do this on the 6th lap. The lace of the carnation is a little bit like. Also hook some braid pins. As a ending pin. Hook a short needle into the first needle. Then add 3 more braid pins. Some braid pins. Hook a short needle into the next needle. Continue to hook some braid pins. Hook a short needle into the next needle. Hook a short needle. The next stitch is a short stitch. to the last needle. You can hook a drawing needle with the first stitch. Take 2 come over. Then lead pull. Coil widening. Bolt. This one is hooked. Once the receptacle is hooked, we need to put this. Let him hide the thread inside. This thread. Go all the way around and pull him over. Thread ends can be put on with a suture needle. Thread all the threads through the bottom here. You can hook it out with a crochet hook. And then you just combine the 2 parts. That blue line we just had, there's a long section left over. And then we take this. I'm going to pinch this part underneath here. And then I take the longer one. Casual to knit. I'm going to tie this down here. Around the 2 laps. After the one tie, you can crochet the threader on it. It can also be pierced with a suture needle. And then it's set in place. You can adjust the shape of this petal. The last 2. Wire ends through. This suture needle. I'm going to thread it to the bottom here. Through 2. Put it inside. Give the end of the line good tug. And then the 2 are combined. So a carnation is hooked. Let's put together this carnation. Use this flower stick. A flower rod this long. Fold it in half, cut it short and use half. This one is already cut, about a centimeter from the flower pole. Bend it a little bit. It's bent like this. And then from the middle of this carnation, put it through. Go to the center of this flower jaw. Come out here. Pull it down a little bit harder, so it's almost invisible. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then we cut this line short. Use this straw and the same color as the leaves. Thread to wrap the flower rod. It's about 5 inches long. Start winding. At the beginning of. Next to this receptacle right here, you can wrap it around a few more times. And then you just keep wrapping it down fairly evenly. Try to keep it as tight as possible. So I can wrap it around this line right here. You can add the leaves. The front side of the leaf faces the stalk. Hold it. Go around and pull as tight as you can. Add another leaf when the thread comes over. The other leaf is going to be face to face like that. Hold. So I can cut 2
and
or
then
3
it
circles.
just
Keeps going down. Just strap it down about a centimeter. Follow about 10 centimeters of line, then cut the thread. Put your finger on the line, then go all the way onto the pole. Thread the end through to tighten. We're on a circle again. Tighten. So that's the combination. And then once we're done, we adjust the leaves and this for our pole. Bend the rod a little bit. Give him a certain radian. Leaves to give him. But trying to knit. So that's the combination.